Welcome to Uncharted and Unfiltered, the journey back to you. I am Cynthia Jameson, your host, and this is where we break free from the noise and dive deep into what truly matters you. If you're tired of the shoulds, the expectations, and the pressures to fit into a mold that doesn't serve you, you're in the right place. This isn't a podcast about easy answers or sugar coated advice. This is your invitation to reclaim your path, embrace the unknown, and become the bold, unapologetic version of yourself that's been waiting to show up. It's time to get unfiltered. Let's get started. Hello, hello, everyone. It is Cynthia, and this week you are in for something a little different and truly special. I was recently interviewed inside of the School for Psychics podcast by my former mentor, Crystal Moreland. And the conversation was so deeply aligned with the work that I do with leaders that I knew that I needed to bring it here to you. Now, if you are a corporate leader listening and thinking to yourself, psychics, spiritual journey, how does this relate to leadership? I want to offer you this. Every meaningful shift in leadership begins with self awareness. And this episode is really about that, the inner architecture of knowing yourself so clearly that your decision making sharpens, your presence deepens, and your leadership becomes rooted rather than reactive. And in this conversation, you will hear us explore how heightened self awareness improves strategic clarity, because the more attuned you are to your inner signals, the better you can navigate complexity without second guessing yourself. You will hear us explore why presence is a business advantage and how strengthening your intuitive intelligence allows you to cut through the noise, reduce overthinking, and lead with confidence. We will explore how to recognize the blocks that you have unconsciously built, the beliefs, habits, and protective patterns that limit your effectiveness, your influence, and even your well being. And lastly, what it looks like to trust yourself through transitions, whether that's stepping into a bigger role, shifting careers, or simply becoming the next best version of yourself as a leader and as a human. And this isn't about being psychic in the mystical sense. It is about removing interference so that you can hear your higher self, your deepest knowing with precision. And that is leadership work. So if you have ever felt like you've lived many lives in one lifetime, like I have, or like you're standing on the edge of a change you can feel, but you can't quite articulate, this episode will meet you exactly where you are. And before we get to that, I want to extend an invitation, because if this conversation resonates, if you feel the nudge to go deeper, to reconnect with your inner authority, or to lead from presence instead of pressure, there are two ways to work together. One-on-one coaching. This is for leaders ready to transform from the inside out. This is where we build your inner architecture, shifting long-standing patterns, and help you lead with clarity, self-trust, and grounded confidence. The second way is the Self-Trust ARC membership. And this is a community for leaders who want consistent support, powerful practices, and a place to grow alongside others on the same path. And we are going to be meeting tomorrow, December the 2nd at 4 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Time, and again on December the 18th at 1 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. And you are welcome to join us. So with that, I invite you to just take a breath, soften your shoulders, and let this episode meet you where you are. Here's my conversation with the School for Psychics.
Welcome to the School for Psychics podcast. I'm your host and founder, psychic medium, Crystal Moreland. Psychic work has carried stigma for long enough, due in large part to people operating out of integrity and utilizing unsafe practices. More than that, so many that are operating from integrity are walking around only half confident in their gifts, which ultimately does a disservice to your clients, yourself, and the collective. I'm here to change that. Throughout this podcast, you'll hear inspiring stories from other spiritual entrepreneurs, and I'll share some of the wisdom I've gained throughout years of teaching psychic development in practical, simple ways that uphold the highest standards of integrity across the industry. If you're ready to become the confident, clear channel you came here to be and help change the psychic industry for the better, I invite you to visit my website at theschoolforpsychics.com, where you'll find courses, programs, and mentorship opportunities that serve anyone, whether you're a beginner or advanced or anywhere in between. Welcome back. Today's conversation is one for the soul seekers, the deep divers, and anyone standing on the precipice of change. I'm joined by my special guest, Cynthia Jameson, a coach, guide, and self-described seeker who's living and loving her life more than ever before. In today's episode, you're going to hear us dive deep into what it means to truly discover who you are beneath all the roles that you've played, how to get out of your own way, and why having a guide can help you see the blocks that you've created for yourself. But before we dive in, I want to take a quick moment and let you know that enrollment is now open for the Conscious Psychic Certification Program. This is a 20-week hybrid certification that's unlike anything else out there. It's designed to build your confidence as a psychic, not just teach you technique. You'll get personalized feedback on your readings straight from me, learn my higher self integration method for creating a clear channel that you can trust, and work through the confidence formula to finally stop second guessing yourself and your connection. The program officially begins December 1st, so if you've been waiting for the right time to develop your gifts with real support and guidance, this is it. You're also going to get lifetime access for the life of the program to our community, all of the program curriculum, live monthly Q&A calls with me, and so much more. You can find all the details and enroll at the link in the show notes. Now back to today's episode. You're going to hear Cynthia share her journey from working in human resources to becoming a solopreneur. And we also talk about embracing the unknown, being present in the moment, and preparing for priestess training. We will explore in this episode how being present opens you up to hear your intuition, receive spiritual guidance, and recognize the visions and callings that are meant for you. So if you've ever felt like you've lived many lives in one lifetime, or if you're sensing that you're on the edge of something new but you can't quite name it yet, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. I am here with a very special guest today. Her name is Cynthia Jameson. And we were just talking about it before I hit record that we are about to go on a spiritual journey. And I think that's exactly where we're going to go today. How are you, Cynthia?
I am well. And I am, as Crystal knows, in it for the depths.
I love it. Yes.
So I have no idea where we're going to go, but here we are, along for
I
the
love that
ride.
you're just so graciously willing to just go wherever. I think it's so cool.
Well, I think it's only in the going wherever that we can actually discover what's there.
Yeah, you're so right. Like if we don't have the willingness to not keep ourselves from all the spaces that maybe scare us or make us nervous or going into the unknown, we're really limiting our experience and our path forward, right? Yeah, this
So
is already going to
maybe
be good.
we could give an invitation. This is I'm feeling very called to share one of um, you always work with clients that leave impressions on you. And I have had the experience of working with this client who said to me, and this is a visual metaphor, I just love it so much, and it sounds like it would totally fit here, of let's put our scuba gear on, right? We've got our air tanks on, we're going to put our scuba gear on, and we're going to dive in and see what treasures we can discover.
This is so good. This is so good because, well, okay, I'm going to get ahead of myself. Before I dive into that metaphor, I love where our guides are already taking us with this. Before I dive into that metaphor, give us give us the lowdown, the down and dirty about who you are, what you do, all the things, and introduce
Oh,
yourself.
okay. So the down and dirty, I'm like, okay, I've never been presented with that as a question. Hmm. Who I am is I would define myself at this point as a leader and a seeker. I have always been someone who has been seeking a path and not really sure at times what that path was. And I can absolutely get lost along my journey of seeking this path. And to kind of go back a little bit to give you fill in some of the foundational pieces. I mean, who am I? I am someone who has spent a great deal of time in working in human resources. I've always had a passion for people. I always have defined myself as someone who my job found me. I didn't really find it. It just kind of came up and was invited to me. Would you like to do this? Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Um, and I'm a mom. I have two sons. I'm trying to think about what their ages are, but it really doesn't matter. I have two sons. They have children. I have four grandchildren. I am married, and I am living and loving my life more now than I ever have before. And so, for listeners to qualify that, um, I will be 60 next year. And I feel like I've lived many lives, right? Like roles that we have, that we play. I feel like I've been the daughter, I've been the sister, I've been the mother, I've been the wife, I've been the professional, and now I get to be the solopreneur. And all of those different roles and phases have helped me uncover and discover who I am in all of those. And so it seems like I've lived many lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is so cool. Like being able to reflect back and really feel that way. It shows evolution, right? And growth and change and a willingness for all that. That it's not just, this is my life. This is what
Well,
I
and
live.
yeah, and sometimes I purely forget. Oh, yes, I did that too. Oh, yes, I did that too. Right? Just
Yeah.
having conversations with people, meeting new people, and when they ask you things or if you are a certain place and you're like, "Oh, actually I used to work there. I used to do this thing. I used to be in this environment." It's kind of surprising sometimes. I'm like, "Oh, yes, I've kind of just left that part there
Yeah. It's
and
literally
stepped
like
into this."
past lives, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh no, that's not even
absolutely.
in the awareness now, right?
Absolutely. And so I also, as I'm saying this right here, right now, I feel very much like I'm on the precipice of some change that I cannot articulate in my life. And I'm like, okay, so this is just another opportunity to see that it's there. I can feel and sense all of that kind of nervous energy around what will that be like? What will it feel like? Who knows who will I become then? What will I let go of in order to say yes to that? So I think, yeah, we can totally forget. And what I've learned to do is just appreciate when those moments or those memories are coming back to me. That's like, oh yes, I was that, and here's
Yeah.
something else that has unfolded from that. And a lot of that has unfolded in my work with you. So for those of we haven't shared with the listeners, I mean, I have worked with you as my guide over the last year, and being able to discover all those different ways and places where I was in my own way, creating my own blocks,
Which we all do, right?
which
Like
we
I'm
we
I'm an expert in that as well.
we
We all
all
do.
are. And I think that's the value of having a guide, because in and of my own accord, sometimes I won't get out of my own way. I'll just
Yeah.
stay there because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And knowing that I have somebody in my corner holding my vision, holding me accountable, being willing to mirror back to me the ways and places that I am blocking my way in my old pattern or in a new one that can lovingly invite you out or make it so uncomfortable that it's like, oh yeah, this is like the shirt that doesn't fit. Let me let me actually support myself in what I need so that I can step into that next thing, that next version, that next choice, that next action.
And witnessing you do that has been so huge because I see it from both ends of the spectrum, right? There's people that are ready and willing to just do the damn thing, right? Just like you have been. Because we get to this place, and I know for me, I think it's just maybe even human nature. Like, we have to get tired of our own shit before we're willing to do something different, right? It doesn't make us any worse or better than anybody else. It's just kind of human nature, right? Because we do get comfortable. And there are people that are willing, once they get to a certain point, to go, okay, what do I got to do to change? It might not feel good. It might feel uncomfortable. It might not, it might lead me into the unknown, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to find there. And is it going to be okay? Um, and they go. And then there are people that are like, I'm going to fight tooth and nail, right? And I used to be one of those people where I would fight tooth and nail through the change.
Hmm.
And seeing you go through and be so willing to show up to the various aspects, because when you talk about living multiple lifetimes in this one life, I feel like I have seen you shift through multiple lifetimes just in the last year alone, which brings me back to your analogy, which is so fun to me because when I first met you, you talk about putting on the scuba gear and diving. And when I first met you, the analogy that came through from the guides was literally about being in the water and going in the deep end. And you were like, oh, hell no. Like, I don't like the water. I don't want anywhere near it. I don't want to be like, why is this analogy coming through? And to see you sit here in front of me and speak in excitement, in elatement, in like wonder and curiosity about willingly diving to the depths.
Well, so there's literal depths and metaphorical depths, emotional depths, and I'm
Yeah.
willing to go in all of them except for the physical,
Yeah. Which
right? And
I
that
think that
comes
you'll see
back.
that come to fruition in the
Well,
future.
and yeah, I think so too. And
Yeah.
I mean, so the reason why I had a hesitation to like literally dive into things, I mean, I've had three near drowning experiences
Yeah. Holy cannoli.
at a very young age. And that just created a bit of hesitation for me. And I'm working with myself in the background. And that's why these metaphors can really be useful. It can help you take it can help you take yourself outside of yourself,
Yeah.
right? Because if I'm looking at it as a metaphor, if I'm thinking about, okay, I want to get my scuba gear on, I absolutely will be the person who's on the side of the pool, hesitating to jump in, which comes back to what you just said earlier, right? Like I can I can recognize that I'm not doing the damn thing. And the question is, how long are you willing to stay on the side of the pool? How long are you willing to sit in the shit? How long are you willing to sit in the same pattern? How long are you willing before you make a change?
Yeah.
And having that invitation, okay, so the pool is right there, Cynthia. I remember you saying that to me. Like it's right there. Are you going to jump in or not? And that was really the choice. And the way that you mirrored back to me, like it's like you're dipping your toe in all the places, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to get wet.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful the way that you've come at it because like you said, you've been really going into the depths emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like all the ways, right? Minus the physical in currently. But when we have something that is such a physical reality for us, right? And it could be an emotional trauma, it can be a physical trauma, it could be like the right. When we have something like that, it's not just holding us hostage in the physical, right? It's impacting everywhere we go. So when you look back over the course of your life, right, I'm sure that you can see places where you would only dip your toe in, right? Only say so much, only show up so much, right? Like it it translates. We always look at things in such very linear and boxed in spaces of, well, this is only like it's me jumping into a physical pool that I'm uncomfortable with, right? Like that is
Mhm.
course is not going to have anything to do with my career. It's not going to have anything to do with my spirituality. It's not going to have anything to do with my finances, right? But it all translates in one
Yeah,
form or fashion. It's evident in different places in our lives. And the fact that you have been so willing to, so many people are like, well, if I can't get in the pool, I just got to force myself to get in the pool. That's the thing. That's the cure. That's the answer. That's the solution. And what I have seen you do so powerfully is like, okay, maybe I'm not willing to get in the pool right now. And that's okay because I
Mhm.
am willing to get in the pool emotionally, to go to the depths spiritually, to do, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
that's the only way around is through. That is the through line, right? And we come to the actual ability to tackle whatever the thing is, whether it is physical or mental or spiritual or whatever, right? Emotional. We come to the ability to do that not by facing it directly. Most often we come to it by going through the other areas.
Absolutely. And what's coming up for me as you share that is this narrative that I I grew up with myself, which is like this idea of like, well, who are you to lead anyway? Like,
Yeah.
who are you to? Of course, later in life, the lead anyway came there, but like, who are you to have an opinion, speak up, stand up, have an idea, have a vision, right? And so and I think all of us have some sort of a narrative that we either have been born into or we have heard or we have picked up through and through no fault of our parents. Like
Yeah. They're
this
doing the
is
best that they
I mean,
can.
they're doing the
The,
best that they can
Lord
and
knows my kids are
they
gonna have shit that they're like, my mom.
well
You know?
and mine as well and I've talked to my kids about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I just want you to know that I anticipate at some point you're going to have some problem, something, and it's going to come back to me. And I'm here if you ever want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I think just in the act of being human, it's like,
Yeah.
of course, we're going to lay down patterning and we're going to lay down conditions and we're going to lay down said and unsaid things that they will pick up through osmosis.
100%. And it's not
And
to, like take us off the hook as parents or just individuals walking through the world, but we ourselves signed up for those lessons, for those challenges,
yes,
for those specific familial
yes,
patterns, for that that group of people, right? That love them or hate
absolutely.
them. That's who you chose. That's who you wanted. And um, our children too. And I have to remember that sometimes as a mom, like when I come into those moments of like, oh, I could have done that differently, right? Okay, there's something in this for all of us, right? There's learning in it for me, there's opportunity and growth in it for me. There's also something in it for my child.
Absolutely. And it's been very freeing to recognize that not only did I come here as a soul at this time to be here now, but so too did they.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to something which is about like this narrative that I think we all have to some degree.
Mm.
The invitation that I would have that I've given myself, and I just want to offer other people to think about is answering that question. Whatever that story is that your brain is giving you, because it was only in the answering of that question for me that I was able to peel away the layers. right? Like, who was I? Who are you too? Like, sit with yourself, walk with yourself, whatever feels good to you, but find a way to answer that question so that you can begin to see yourself. You can begin to build evidence for who you are in a way that feels incredible, in a way that allows you to step into your, like, the way that you, the way that only you can show up in the world. Like, I say this all of the time, and sometimes I think we don't really get it, which is like there is not another human being in the world like Crystal Moreland with your set of values, skills, talents, expertise, thoughts, questions, ideas, presence. And I think we forget that.
We do. It's
And
so easy. So easy to compare and despair
and
and
that's
forget that
and that's
there's
your
something special.
gift, right? Like your gift, your presence to be here with you in this moment. This is the biggest gift that you can give me that I can give you.
Yeah. I think that's so beautiful. And if more people showed up in life that way, just like you don't have to try to be, you just simply are. And that's
And
enough.
to allow it,
Yes. Yes,
to allow
because
yourself to
if you're
be.
not willing to allow yourself, right, to just be, it's just kind of like what you said at the beginning, right? When we're not willing to go into some of the places, we keep ourselves from experiencing what we're here to experience.
Yeah.
And you have lived such a beautiful example of what it means to be ever evolving, ever changing, ever growing, and also be willing to be in the midst of the change, right? And I think that, at least from what I've seen, just, and it runs rampant in the spiritual community. I think that it's just because we're all trying to find ourselves. We all find ourselves in this space at some point or another where we are questioning, what are we here to do? How are we meant to have purpose and meaning and impact in the world? And so we get lost on these little wild goose chases within ourselves, right? Looking outside of ourselves for the things. And it's in the being, it's in the allowing yourself to be in the moment. It's in that gift of presence, right? That moment leads to the next, leads to the next. And that is uncomfortable, like sometimes really uncomfortable, but there's a gift in it too. And I would love for you to speak on this because I think this is, and I know even when I was going through my spiritual awakening, I remember being like, I gotta find the thing, right? Like I gotta know what I'm here to do. And
Yep.
that's just what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And you and I are both manifesting generators. So we are not just, that we are meant for lots of different curiosities, right? But it's almost like there that bit of control, that bit of comfort that it provides our brain to say, oh, okay, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about something unexpected around the corner. I can just coast, right? I can just show up to
Hmm.
this. And I would love for you to speak on how you've had so many different evolutions. Like if you look back 20 years ago, would you ever have dreamed that you're where you are today?
Hell no.
Yeah. In fact, I
Hell no.
remember even just a year ago when you and I first met, you had a reading with me. And there was something that came through in that reading that was like a year from now, you will not be the same person. Life will look different. I don't remember exactly how they said it.
Yep.
And then just recently it was like, okay, good job. Now get fucking ready because next year's gonna be wild. Like you're
You are not going to know her.
It's it's absolutely incredibly true. And hand on heart, I would have no the former versions of me would have had no idea that this would be my life now. And what's fascinating about that is in following the through line, if I go back and think about, okay, what was present there that's present here? And it was this desire to follow the like breadcrumbs, if you will, right? Or follow the little seeds of sand that get dropped in along the way. And I can look back and see that doors opened, paths were illuminated, and I made decisions to walk through certain paths. And without walking through the path, I didn't and wouldn't have been able to see the next set of doors,
Yeah.
right? Or if we go back to the analogy, and I've never been a diver, so I don't know if what I'm going to say is going to make sense.
Excuse our lack of technical knowledge, okay? Just going with
But
what
if
comes through.
like if I'm going down to the depths and I'm on the ocean floor and I'm discovering some beautiful plants, I don't know what else is there unless I go a little further. And maybe I need to go a little to the left, or maybe I need to go a little to the right. And then maybe there's a cave that I come across. And then maybe if I go in there, there's another throughway that I can take. But unless I go there, I don't know. And what was fascinating to me is when I left my HR career after almost 40 years in, I don't know, 2022 or 2023, something like that, I thought I had made it. Like this was my life. I was working for myself. I was coaching full time. I was loving my life. I was loving the work that I was doing. I could see and hear and feel the impact that I was having. And I was like, this is it. This is my dream. This is what it has all been for. And then
That's how it always happens. You're like, oh, okay. Ah.
this was like, so just to give you a timeline, this was like April 23rd. And then by October, I had joined a mastermind and I went to Chicago. And it was in that room with other beautiful humans that they were talking about all these different things. Like they wanted to create a podcast, they wanted to create a program, they wanted to create a mastermind. And I was like, wait, what? I could create a podcast. I could create a program. I could create a I had no idea. And so, had I never put myself in that place, I wouldn't have been able to discover what was there that lit me up. What was there that was a door that I wanted to open, knowing full well I could always close it later,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have known it if I didn't go there. And I think that's the thing that I would say is like if people are, and I know people are because this is work that we do, people are looking for what is the path, what is the career, what is the trajectory, how do I get there? And I think that my experience tells me now that can be amazing if you have insight into what that is, but also notice how it feels along the way. And I feel very called to qualify that. As an HR professional, I was a stressed out, overproducing, over functioning human being because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And I did not know that there was another way to live and lead your life. I purely didn't know it. I can see now that I had different threads that came in, like I learned about mindfulness at a young age. I learned about journaling at a young age. I learned about exercise. And there were all these different things that were helpful along the way. What I didn't know is how to manage my mind. I didn't know that I had another part of me that could come out and be helpful, my own inner cheerleader that could be helpful in my journey and having and learning how to dialogue with myself in
Yeah.
a way that was kind and compassionate and loving, like I would treat a friend. And so learning that changed everything. And
Yes.
that allowed me to then not be so afraid, so dysregulated that I wouldn't put myself in a room.
Yeah.
Because there are versions of me that, I mean, I was a public, I did a lot of public speaking. I did a lot of, events and introductions and speaking and roundtables and facilitation and all of those things. And I'm sure I did a great job. And there's a very felt sense difference when you have learned to work with and partner with your body
Yeah.
than
It's
if you
like going in all
haven't.
amped up and like ready and charged up
Absolutely.
versus going in grounded.
Absolutely. So I had a client yesterday tell me like I can push through the wall because the wall's in front of me.
Yeah.
But when I'm so close to the wall, I can't even see that there are other ways around it.
Yeah.
But if I step back and take some perspective, there's probably 4 or 5 ways that I could navigate that wall. And it's that pause to be able to come back to your center, your regulation, your connection, your intuition, like the place within you that feels calm that we all have access to that I think we just forget. And I
Yeah.
get it. I forget sometimes too, but it's reminding and remembering that we have that and that all of our answers are
Yeah.
here in our inner wisdom within our
100%.
hearts, right? And I mean, Crystal, this is something you and I talk about a lot, which is helping people become their own oracle, helping them find their own answers.
Yeah. It's so
And I
important, right? It's necessary because so
absolutely,
many people are just walking around feeling like I don't have the answers. I need someone who can
and
tell me.
and I want to say, of course,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
because
so natural.
who has taught us how
Yeah.
to regulate our systems? Who has taught us how to manage our mind? Who has taught us how to answer our own questions or that that's even an option,
Yeah.
right? We buy into our own brain sometimes in ways that are not truly helpful. Even if
Yeah.
it may be true, it may not be helpful. And so I think really for me, one of the things that has, I would say, has been pivotal, I'm not mixing my words here, has helped me pivot is learning that there are tools, there are frameworks to help you work with you, and that there is no one else in this earth like you. So, of course, your solution isn't going to be somebody else's solution. It's going to
Yeah.
be yours and only yours.
100%. And I love that you said, when you're looking for the path, when you're looking for the answer, if you will, pay attention to how you feel. Like, pay
Hmm.
attention to your body. I so often get the question from clients, like, how do I know when it's my intuition or my brain, right? How do I know if there's something that's actually meant for me and it's coming through, or my head's just getting in the way of it, right? And I'm like, at the end of the day, just go with what feels good,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
I've even found myself in situations where I might I might push against the not so good feelings for a while.
No.
No, never, right? Like none of us do that ever. We don't just like keep grinding through, right? But I'll find myself doing that grind. And then I'm like, wait a second. Easiest
Yeah.
answer is recognize how it feels. Like if it doesn't feel good, no matter what someone else tells you, no matter what someone else has advised you, no matter what you've read online, no matter what you have decided for yourself, if it doesn't feel good, there's a reason for that, right? It doesn't mean that we
Hmm.
avoid the uncomfortable because there's a difference, right? There's a difference between this is uncomfortable and I recognize that maybe it's a challenge because it's something new or something that I haven't done before, or I'm learning something, or I'm walking into something that I, you know, haven't had awareness of previously. But there's a difference when it just doesn't fucking feel good.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that is when you're like, well, wake up, right? Your body's trying to tell you, wake up.
It's sending you the message. It's giving you a
Yes.
red flag. There's something here to be concerned about. This is not
Yeah.
the path.
Yes. And when
This
we
is
are
not the
so
path, the
in our
person.
head, trying to figure it out, trying to know the next steps, that's why I think it's so valuable that you have lived a life that you've just been willing to follow the breadcrumbs. Because, like you said, if you hadn't gone through one door, the next door wouldn't have presented itself. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have had, right? And for you to come into, I'd like you to take us through what happened after the mastermind, because I think that you've also gone through a large spiritual awakening. There's a lot of change that has occurred for you just as a human being and how you think and what you are into and how you, right? And what I see kind of plagues us as humans is that we feel called to something. Something piques our interest, something piques our curiosity, a door opens, and we're like, oh, that must be the thing. And so we get laser focused and we start to build up in our minds what this is going to look like and how it's going to pan out and you know what I mean? And we then start tuning out all of the other signals that are coming in of like, now go here, right? I also do see that nothing is wasted. Nothing is not on purpose. There are no coincidences, right? And so we may start to formulate in our mind a very specific way that this Lego set is going to come together, right? Like it has to look like the
Hmm.
box. I will never forget, just a sidebar, and I think the analogy will work well here. So, I have two sons, and when the oldest of the two, he didn't get into Legos at a young age. And quite frankly, as parents, we were relieved because when he was young and some of the other kids his age were into Legos, they're like, he doesn't play with Legos. I'm like, no, plays with Transformers. He's obsessed with Transformers. Legos doesn't touch them. And then I would go to the store and I'd see the Lego sets and I'm like, good God. Like, they want a small child for this, right? For like a little box. But when he started getting into Legos, his brain works very differently than mine. He's also extremely creative in these other ways. And he would not follow the instructions on the box. He
Mm.
wasn't there to build what the box told him to build. He was there to build whatever the hell he felt like. And I'm like, but it's a box. There's instructions. There's there's exactly this many pieces for this, and there's exactly this, and they're supposed to go here. And he would create these things. Like my boys were making transformers out of Legos just from their heads. I'm like, how
Hmm.
are you even? My brain cannot wrap around that stuff. But I was just amazed. Like, you're not limiting the way that you think this is going to go just because you've brought the box home, right? And I think
Hmm.
so much as us, especially as soulpreneurs, because everything's riding on it, right? Like everything's riding on what we do and how we do it and whether it works. I think so often spirit leads us to the box and we grab the box and then we're like, okay, this is exactly how it's supposed to lay out. And spirit's like, no, bitch, we just wanted you to have these extra Lego pieces. Like, add it to your collection because it's going to make this really beautiful thing. But it's definitely not anything that Lego is selling. You
Mm.
just need the pieces, right? So tell us about your spiritual awakening, your journey, the different pieces that you've picked up along the way, and just kind of how you've allowed yourself to willingly open those doors that you felt called to without
Yeah.
needing it to piece together in this very specific designed way.
Well, I would love to tell you that I didn't want to put things together in a very specific designed way, but that's not what happened because I have this brain that's
Yeah.
very linear and it's like, okay, well, this is the way you do it. So I had a lot of energy around the podcast, the idea of a podcast. And so I created a podcast. I loved having it. I did have support through it. And I decided for myself, how long was I willing? I think this is important that I will share. I asked myself, how long was I willing to do it with no attachment to any outcome, whether I had anybody listening, if I had any feedback, if I had this, if I had that, all of that. I had decided ahead of time, made a ton of decisions around it to say, I'm willing to keep going and keep doing this for an entire year without anything. And I built in place for myself moments of celebration. So when I had the music, when I had the first episode, when I had the first five, or whatever it was that I decided that I was going to do, but I decided that ahead of time. And that worked really, really well. And why is this important? This is important because what I decided next, so the door that opened next was I wanted to create a program. And I did. And it looked exactly like everybody else's program because I wasn't trusting myself enough, hearing my own way of doing it, and I was tied to the Lego box. It's
Yeah.
got to look this way because this is what works, right? This is the kind of condition, or this is the kind of container, or this is the kind of program that will allow you to make the money, to have the clients come in, to do the thing. And that my experience was not that. I did it exactly like that. And I can totally see why it did not unfold the way that I had hoped because I didn't allow my own self to create it. What did I want to create? What was it going to look like for me? Did it have to be on Thursday at this time? Did it have to be this many things? Right. And so I say that and share that because I think we can get caught up in what we're attached to. If we're attached to what it looks like, how it looks, when it will happen, and aren't able to release ourselves from that. Like when you talked about your son, he wasn't attached to what the Lego instruction set said. He's just like, I'm just going to build whatever I feel like building and allowed himself to do that and learned probably as much or more than putting it together based on the box.
Yeah. And the thing is like there are going to be times in our lives where we're willing to just be like, it doesn't feel like there's as much on the line, right?
Yes.
And then there's also times when we create the thing or we do the thing or it doesn't work out, right? But there's purpose in that, right? Like if you would
I
not have done that, right?
I needed to learn that.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing that I think that we get tripped up on a lot is that we want it to be perfect, meaning not necessarily what we create. I mean, we want that too, right? We want the creations to be perfect, but we want the path to be
To be
perfect.
perfect.
We want the freaking gravel, little pebble gravel that is got the glue mixed in and it's made all smooth. And so you can walk on it barefoot and it doesn't, hurt your feet anywhere. And just, ew, gross.
Well,
Like,
and my guess is you say that now because you have enough experience, you can look back and see that even if the path was thorny, bumpy, had all sorts of things, you come to a point in life when you look back and it is perfect
yes, and it
with all of its
all serves.
imperfections,
It's
right?
like, if you take the gravel path analogy, there are, people that go barefoot, right? Like they're I don't remember what their technical term, but they're barefoot, right? They go barefoot everywhere. The thing is that our feet were designed, as much as we like to have them removed when we go get pedicures and things, like they were designed to callus to protect us, right?
Mhm.
So that we can walk on any terrain and not not hurt, right? Getting to that point is painful. You're going to step on some shit. It's going to
And
hurt.
and that's all helping you
Yes,
build the
exactly.
muscle, build the callus, allow you to
Yeah,
be able to walk, continue to walk forward. And if I've learned
yeah,
anything in my journey, it's checking myself. What am I attached to? What are the things? And I see it like I'm human, imperfectly human. I mean,
mhm,
incredibly imperfectly human. And noticing that and having compassion for that allowed me to release control, which is what it was for me, right? Yeah, there was absolutely this perfectionism, but also this sense of like, oh, I can control this. I can muscle my way through. I can make this happen. But it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. And so the elation and the joy that I was experiencing before, I could see and feel and sense. I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel as good. So then that's not for me.
yeah,
And that gave me, again, always answering this question, who am I to? Right? That was the narrative that I was inside. That was the name of my podcast. And in answering that, I was able to put down, it still comes up, but put down that sense of control, put down that sense of perfection, put down the old patterns, the old narratives, and instead pick up something else. It's like, what is the thing that lights me up? What is the thing that I could keep talking about, keep showing up for, keep doing that I feel like I could do forever? I used to tell my kids this all the time, like, whatever it is you like, love what you do because you're going to be doing it a long time.
yeah.
And finding the thing that you love so much. Like I've recorded 165 episodes now. It's just me. It's still me.
Amazing.
And I love it more now than I did at the beginning
Mm,
because I've released all attachment to, well, who could be listening? I have no idea. But showing up for yourself, for me to show up for me over 165 episodes, I am not the same person. And that has been an incredible gift. That has allowed me to find my voice. It's allowed me to find my opinions. It's allowed me to find nuance, humor, or lack thereof,
yeah,
but only in showing up and doing the thing that allow me to do that. And being, I think the other piece when we talked about like the doors opening, I actually don't know when my spiritual awakening started. It might have started at Kundalini yoga when I was like 25. But I will say that the more that I've allowed myself to be myself, and for context, I love um, oracle cards. I love crystals. I love candles. I love journaling. I love all of those things. And in my corporate world, I felt like none of that was welcome
mm,
because it really wasn't. But allowing myself to step into that and claim for myself, these are the things that I love. This is how I like to work with myself. It's enabled me to really step into that and own who I am more. And if other people don't jive with that, vibe with that, that's okay. That's not a problem at all. And I also feel really called to touch on something because we talked earlier about like helping people become their own oracle, helping them find their own answers. And this is something we've talked about with regard to like oracle cards. I just want to say, like, however you get there,
Yeah.
however you get there for yourself is not a problem,
Yes.
right? It's the invitation here is to have your awareness open to what is around you, what is calling to you, what is lighting you up, what is feeling good, and say yes to that. And if you say yes to the things that feel good, my sense is you're going to say no to the things that don't. And that changes everything. That changes everything with the willingness, right? There has to be a willingness to be there. And the universe is quite playful,
It really is. It really is.
sometimes painful, but sometimes playful.
And honestly, I think when it becomes painful, it's because we've made it that way for ourselves,
100%.
right? We've resisted the call or we've chosen to stay comfortable. And I love that you bring up like it does require a willingness because one of the things that like the credence that I live by essentially is that when I'm guided to something, I follow it. Now, it's not perfect every time. And this last year has definitely been a test in that for me, right? I've probably been more defiant in the last year than any other time in my life. But everyone's always like, but where's your free will in that? Where's your choice? Where's your blah, blah, blah? It's in the decision, it's in the willingness, right? Because I can be guided to anything in any given moment before I go or I don't, before I choose to open the door or to turn my back to it or to stay where I'm at or whatever, open a different door, I am choosing with my willingness to say yes or no to something, right? Like my
Mm-hmm.
brain has the last little bit. Now, there's also, you and I have lots of conversations about ultimately like what is free will and does it really exist? I think we need a whole other podcast episode for that. But um, we don't want to scare the people off too quickly. But like I ultimately believe we're going to get there, you know? Like even if I say no, 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 no 100 times, the universe is still going to keep coming back around and being like, listen, I know I keep asking the same question, but like you in or you out, because
Yeah,
that's what we've chosen for this life. That's the path that we have chosen. At some point, you should or get off the pot, right? So that willingness is such an important piece, but we can be the more that we do that, right? The more that we step into that willingness, the more that we make those conscious choices of, yes, I'm willing to lean in, I'm willing to lean in, I'm willing to open this door, I'm willing to find out what's here, I'm willing to follow the breadcrumbs, the easier it becomes to hear where we are called.
yes,
The
absolutely.
easier it becomes to override the brain and all of the nonsense that it's going to spew and all of the excuses and all of the limiting beliefs and all the doubts and all of, right, the drama that it's going to bring to the table to present to us to say, well, are we sure this is a good decision?
Absolutely. And what you're touching on now is this idea of like meeting yourself in your own fear,
Yeah.
being willing to go down in the depths of your own subconscious mind and see what like be curious enough, not go there and dysregulate yourself even more,
Yeah.
but to go there with a like curiosity. It's like, oh, well, what does my brain think about this? Like, what is it actually afraid of? And what's even deeper than that? Or what's underneath all of that? And if that did happen, what would that mean? And
That
I think what
curiosity is key.
it's key if you're going to explore in a way that will allow you to see what's there so that you can just see what's there. Because Otherwise, if we're not willing to take a peek at what's there, it's running the show, but we don't
And
know.
when we're going in and we're trying to beat it into submission, right? We're only causing more havoc, more chaos, more harm to our nervous system, to our mind, to our
Absolutely.
emotionality. So having that open curiosity of like, huh, I wonder why. Why is this coming up? Why do I think this way? What, just that's the balm, right? Like that is the balm.
Absolutely.
Instead of
Absolutely.
spraying freaking astringent on your damn open wound, right? Like this
Well,
is
and
the
it's
balm
and
that you
it
get to rub in and really allow it to do what it needs to do to
well, and
heal.
that's treating yourself like you would a friend, or I even want to invite us, this is something I've been inviting myself to do more of. I want to treat myself like someone I love,
Yeah.
because I would never treat you the way that I treat me.
Yeah. That's a
And
big
it's
one.
really it's a huge one. And so even just noticing, like if you have the openness to be curious about what your subconscious is saying to you, then also to have the image or the invitation is to think about, like, if this fear has such a message for you, if I were to treat it like a little child, how would I tend to that child in a way that, like, of course, it'd be like, come here, darling. Of course you're afraid of the dark. Of course you're afraid of your job loss. Of course you're afraid of whatever it is, right? Like your business isn't meeting your targets, or you're not reaching the people that you want to reach, or you're not giving your medicine in the places that you want to be able to give it. Whatever that is, but really treating yourself with tenderness and love, because I'm pretty damn sure at the end of this life, we're not going to be saying anything other than, like, wow, how kind was I to myself? How kind was I to other people? Like, I think that could be a regret
Yeah.
if we don't, if we aren't tender and compassionate with ourselves. And I'm thinking about this Ram Dass quote, like, the best thing I can do for us, you and me and my husband, me and my kids, me and my community, is to tend to myself.
Yeah. It's so true. Like everything starts within. And
Everything.
how we're able to love and appreciate and treat others, it's also held back by how we're able to do the
To
same for
treat
ourselves,
ourselves.
right? Like I
Yes.
can love big. I love big, but I know that I can love so much more. I can give so much more when I am also tending to me.
Yes. And you is your own best resource, right? Like
Yeah.
that's you taking care of you, your vessel. And I know you do a great, this is what I observe in you. You do a great job of that. Like
See, that's
tending
the thing.
to,
You're right on point here because I'm like, well, that's really nice because that's not what I say to myself in my head. Well, it's like, you could do better.
well, and I think we
We
can.
can, yes.
I think we can. And I think there's also a nuance here. uh, just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the feeling,
Like
right?
giving grace, giving
This is
compassion, loving
correct.
ourselves, not pushing, being curious as to
Yeah.
what does my body need? What does my soul need? What does my mind need? Right?
Yes. And giving it to yourself, just like you would your kids, your
Yeah.
team, your organization. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're gonna we're gonna take a little squirrely turn here for a second.
Okay.
I apologize. Don't shoot the messenger. But I don't know if you've shared this publicly or not yet. So,
It's okay. Go for it.
surprise. Um, Forgive me if I say this the wrong way, but you have entered priestess training, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay, did I say that right? Or is there like another
You
way that
did.
it's referred to?
Nope.
Okay. I was like, did I mess that up? All right. Tell us about this because I just, as someone who has seen you over the last year, in listening to your story here on today's episode, right? Like working in HR for 40 years. Um,
Sounds quite
having,
dull, doesn't it?
I mean, yes, to each his own. I mean, writing instruction manuals kind of geeks me out because I like everything to me. That's probably my one line. But um, being in the field of HR, being in this very corporate, very structured, very rigid space where, like you said, like talking about things like, hey, I like oracle cards and crystals and journaling would not have been welcome, you know. Especially at that time period. I think that we've
Mhm.
here lately in the last maybe not even quite the last decade, people are becoming more open to that in various places that maybe it wasn't as open before. But especially when you were in corporate, this was like, no, 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 no. It is
Yeah,
the
it's
farthest
very clear.
from like you won't get fired, okay? Like, we're gonna have to let you go. Um, but being in that environment, going into coaching where you're like, this is it. I'm a
Mhm.
coach. I'm helping people with their mindsets, right? Like going full bore into like all sorts of spiritual explorations, if you will. And now here you are, having just begun, well, it's October 1st today, so last month, having just begun priestess training. What kind of doors did you walk through to get from there to here?
Well,
Tell us about this.
so it all starts with I think this is one of the pivot points. So I want to tell this story, and it's not very long, of being 6 years old. And my parents, we had a home in Newfoundland in Canada, and that home burnt down. I was 6, my brother was 2, and we moved. And why that is important is because at 6 years old, I had the wherewithal. I don't know how, I don't know where. I just knew that it happened. That I would get out of my bed on Sunday morning and I would go. We lived in a trailer park, and I would go and I would put myself on this bus and they would take me to church. And I went there at first for the bubble gum, not going to lie. And I kept going. And that becomes important because I believe that was my like my inner, if I use this like woo term, inner mystic, inner oracle, inner intuition that was speaking to me, that was guiding me to what I came here to be a part of. But I didn't know it then. And then I set that down. And then I picked that up later on in life after I've had my kids. I've converted to being a Catholic, and they needed volunteers to teach children religious education. And again, this call in me to, okay, I was like, wow, how do I do this? I've got a full time job. I already volunteer. And now I'm going to add more volunteer work on top of that. And so I led religious education for the parish that I was a part of for probably 10 years. And in
Wow.
my summer vacation, I studied at St. Paul University in Ottawa for my summer vacation.
Like this sounds like a
So,
good snack.
so lots of people would say that is crazy. And I would say, yes, and I was fed in a way that I was never fed.
Mm.
And that just fueled me in such a way that it just felt so good. It felt delightful. It felt like I was in the right place, doing the right thing with the right people. And I had this glimmer of that to hang on to. Then, fast forward, kids don't need that anymore. That's all finished. I stop volunteering there. Other people pick it up. I go back to my corporate job. Life goes on. Bunch of moves, transitions. Um, Divorce happens, a move, and then here I am. And so when as I settle into becoming a coach, as I settle into helping people, as I settle into answering some of these questions for myself, it gets quiet. Life isn't as busy. Life is more fun. Life is more adventurous. And then I could hear this like, there's this desire for something. There's ritual, there's symbol, there's things that I love that I'm not participating in. And so I don't even know how I came across your website. I don't know how I got, I mean, all different programs that I was in, I guess, but also ended up taking this program through the Institute of Intuitive Intelligence. At the same time, I'm working with you. You're teaching me in your program how to connect to my intuition. And then I feel very called to take this program, which is the Intuitive Intelligence Method program, which is about meeting and releasing your subconscious fear, which I had a lot of. And it was doing that in a way that's like doing that on the daily, doing that with a frequency that would allow me to build my own belief in myself. And I finished that program in May. And the next level was High Priestess. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I know that I'm saying yes to that. And what that is, in my understanding, is an ability, and this is just me telling you transparently right here, right now. I have no idea what this next 12 months will change in me. I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea what will not happen. I have no idea what it will look like. And it's all okay. It's all welcome to be there, as well as my discomfort. I have been sitting in the discomfort of that. It will require me to know myself in ways that I have never known myself. And I'm looking forward to that because just like sitting there in that room, listening to people talk about the ability to create a podcast, I know that there will be ideas, there will be thoughts, there will be doors that I can open if I choose. And that to me is incredibly exciting, expansive, and I'm looking forward to that and challenging myself in new ways. I still need to work with my discomfort.
We
I
all
think
do.
I
I think
I
it's a
think
lifelong
I
process.
but I think it's also deciding for yourself what is your own, if I could be frank, when my brain's an asshole to me, which it is, to know that for myself, okay, I know you're being an asshole right now. And what am I going to do about it? How long am I willing for how long am I willing to allow my brain to be an asshole right now before I'm going to get out and take some inspired action? And I'm using inspired action on purpose because that when I feel inspired, that feels like I'm following my lit upness. I'm following what feels good to me. Inspired action in and of itself isn't inspiring to me,
Yeah.
but inspired action, when I feel like I've just been kissed by the universe, that that's that's the frequency. That's the lit upness.
Yes. Yes.
And
And I
like
want to
I feel like
highlight
I could
this.
like take caves. Like I could be like caves. Let me go deeper, deeper, deeper. There's more here. There's more here.
Yeah.
And it's all like let's know ourselves as the powerful creators we are, who don't need a Lego box.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that it's important to stress. I really want to stress this for those listening that it's not about, okay, something pops into my awareness and I know that I'm going to do it. It's not about, but what is this going to lead to? Well, what is that going to look like? Well, let me sort all that out before I make a decision. It's like when you just know I'm saying yes to this, that is your intuition guiding you. That is the universe saying this is meant for you, and all of the various parts and pieces are meant for you. There's something, so many things in this journey. Just have that willingness to go. Just have that willingness to say yes without needing any more information except the fact that you know this is meant for you. That's
That
it.
and the
That's all
and
you
the
need.
The request for more information is always your brain.
Yes,
It
100% of the
always
time.
wants it
Always.
always wants to know more, know how,
Yeah.
know when,
And that's
know
the
all the
control,
things.
right?
Always.
Because it provides the brain safety. And when we know that, when we have that understanding and that awareness, that our brain's going to naturally do that. It's going to naturally want to know the how, the why, the what, the where, the when. It's going to want to know everything. Some of the times when it's like investing in different things, it's like I immediately feel a yes, but like I don't have that in my bank account right now. Right. And you don't have to worry about it. Right. It sounds so just like blasé, but that's the truth, right?
Yes.
Because if something is meant for you, the universe is also going to provide a way for that to occur for you
Hmm.
exactly when you're meant to have it. And so the willingness to just say yes and then go to the next inspired thing and the next inspired thing and the next inspired thing, you're going to find that it just shows up, right?
Even when you're asked to sell your house.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So much trust and willingness had to be there for that
Yes.
process. Yeah. It's really about just being
Do we
willing.
have time to share quickly that story?
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Because I feel like we just opened up a door. So what I just jumped in there with is there was a really strong intuition within me to speak to my husband last year and say, like, we have been trying to move to New Brunswick, where we are now, since COVID. And my intuition kept speaking to me. His intuition kept speaking to him. And last year we made the decision to sell the house. And so we put up the house for sale in, I want it's late August or something like that. And we moved in December and we had no house to come to. And the entire time, all of the guidance that I kept getting is it'll unfold, it'll unfold, it'll unfold, it'll unfold just when it's meant to. And literally, I got here in New Brunswick on December the 7th. My husband came on December the 11th. By the following 4 days, we had purchased a house.
Yeah.
And it would not have been through any traditional means. We did not buy a realtor at all. We knew a realtor. We were in a location we really liked. I just sent out a Facebook message and got 5 responses just asking anybody planning on selling their house. We had rented a place for a month. We had to rent it again for another month. And we were in our home from December the 7th to February the 7th. And it was almost like the universe just plopped us here. That's not a very eloquent word, but it's almost like it's like, yes, of course, we're going to take care of that. We just need you to get out of the way.
Yes.
Stop rehearsing everything. Stop planning everything. Stop trying to have mental gymnastics over everything. Get out of
That's
the way.
like the biggest bone that I have is that our mind can only operate in perceived limitations. My guides said that to me years ago, and they have said it again and again and again in client situations, in reels, and all kinds of stuff. Like our mind can only operate in perceived limitations, which means our brain only knows what it knows. As
Yes.
of here, this moment, right now, all of the data and all the information and all the circumstances and the situations and the experiences that it's collected, that's all it knows. So for someone like you who's going to go and sell their house and buy their house, well, guess what? A brain knows, unless you are an infant and you have not had any experience in the retail industry, like the real estate industry, right? Not retail. But our brain knows that, okay, we put the house on the market, we search for homes, we've got maybe a contingency, right? Because we got to make sure that we have a house to go to before we move out of our house. And then we've got, like there's all these very step by step protocols.
Mm-hmm.
That is the limitation. Our brain is perceiving limitations. It's perceiving that it cannot happen outside of this way of doing it. And when we step back and we let go and we just allow and we surrender to the process and we go, okay, I have no fucking clue how this is going to happen. And it definitely looks, and it might feel definitely to my anxious mind and body that it's not going to happen. But I'm going to continue to bring myself back to that knowing, that trust,
Absolutely.
that surrender, that faith, right? Then we allow the process to unfold the way that it's meant to. I have seen very
Yes.
clearly in my life when I have forced an outcome, it never ends well, ever. And sometimes we have to like, okay, now we got to take a little trip on that path before the path circles, back into the path that we're there, and there's something there for us, right? But I've also seen the power of surrender. And nine
Mm.
times out of 10, especially when there's a time stamp on things, it is going to look like it is not coming through until the 11th hour.
Mm-hmm,
And we
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
have to stay steadfast to the faith and the trust that what we know internally to be true, not in our mind, but in our intuition, in our connection, that there's truth in that, there's power in that, right? We give our power
And
away to our mind, we go in and we fuck shit up.
well, and it's incredible power. And I think, I don't know if this is true for all of us, but I sense that it is. Most of us within our heart of hearts know that we're going to be okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, what
And
is
just
okay,
reminding
right?
yourself,
What's the definition of okay? Because so many people expect that, oh, okay, if I'm led to something, if I'm guided to something, it's going to mean that it's going to be roses and daisies and unicorns and fucking
doesn't mean that.
fluffy teddy bears. It doesn't mean that, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like, there's that movie, I think it's The Hangover. But this guy is like driving crazy and doing all this crazy shit. And he's like, everybody's freaking out, and he's like, but did you die?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the universe is going, but did you die? Like, calm down,
Yeah.
Susan. Put your pants back on. It's okay. Buckle up. We're going for a ride, right? That's like when my youngest, gets so, he does not like to be in the car for a long time. He never has. And like, I remember trips to grandma's house. They were only like 15-minute drive when we lived closer to her. And for him, it felt like eons. Like our daughter actually convinced him one day that we were driving, that he had entered Alaska. They'd gone like 40 minutes down the road. And he's like, I'm in Alaska. We're in Kansas. No, we're in the same town that you live in. Okay. But when we're younger, everything seems longer, bigger, older, etc. And just getting him to sit back and enjoy the ride.
Hmm.
Where are we going? What are we doing? Why?
Are we there yet?
Can I know? Why can't I know? What do I need to, why won't you just tell me? If you'll just tell me, I just, like he's always needed to know everything. Needed to, he has a line four too. He's got a line four in his human design, which I'm realizing like having the plan, understanding the plan, knowing the plan, right? But it's like the universe is literally like, just get in, buckle up. It's gonna be fine.
And be present,
Yeah. Like
right?
I remember as a kid playing I Spy in the car or like
Hmm.
Slug Bug, you know,
All things
like
that
that
our
game
kids
because
today,
hard, but like, yeah, they miss out on those things. And I'm like, just be present. It taught us so much, right? And it'll continue to teach us every single day the more present that we become.
and that's the work, is to come
Yeah.
back to that present moment, giving yourself what you need.
Because
Do I have
that's
enough
when you
sleep? Do I have enough
hear
water? That's when you hear.
intuition. That's what you hear when you hear what you're called to and
That's
what
when I
door is
heard,
opening
that's
for
when
you.
I heard it might be a really good idea to put a message on Facebook.
Yes.
And then when I
Yes.
talk to other people about it, they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
Nothing.
But had you not been allowing yourself to be present, to be
Open.
nurturing yourself, open to whatever way it's going to work out, that wouldn't have dropped into you to like, and it, not that it wouldn't have dropped in, but your mind may not have recognized it. It may have just pushed it aside and gone, well, that's never going to work. Who puts out a question on
It would
Facebook?
have filtered it
Hi,
out. It would have
random
filtered it out.
strangers. Yes.
Yeah, it would have filtered it out.
Yeah. This is so exciting. I am very excited. I have had very specific visions of you. In fact, just just a couple days ago, it might have even been yesterday, a a vision dropped in of you after priestess training. And I am just so elated for you to get to experience this next chapter of your life and what it's going to bring to you and for you and through you. It's like what's the word? The conglomeration, is that what it is? Like grabbing all like it's like all of the pieces coming
Mm,
together in their fullness. And I'm so excited to witness this. How can
I
people get a
am.
hold of you?
I'm in it for the journey. I'm in it for the journey.
I think
All
if
of
we
it.
can all learn to be more like that, to just be in it for the journey, I think it will all just be better off.
Well, and I think, I mean, that's my hope for everyone is to be in it for the journey and just experience what you have. Somebody said the other day, like, smell the roses, stop and smell the roses. And
Yeah,
we don't. And I think we could all be better at that, myself included. I'm certainly not going to say that I have it all figured out because that would just be so far from the truth. But if I've learned anything over my almost 60 years, it's to be present as much as you can. Be kind to yourself as much as you can and others, because when you are, it just emanates from you.
yeah,
And that fuels goodness in the world at a time when we need that more than anything else. We don't need more fear. We need more love. We need more
absolutely.
compassion. How can people get a hold of me?
That's beautiful.
Um, well, depends on whatever platforms. I'm on LinkedIn, Cynthia Jameson Coach on Instagram. Either of those two things will pop you into my world.
Hello. And you have a
And
podcast.
I
What's
have a
your podcast called?
podcast. So it is no longer called Who Are You to Lead Anyway? It is called Unchartered and Unfiltered, A Journey Back to You, because that's the journey I'm on.
Yes,
Back
so
to
good.
remembering all the things that I've forgotten.
Yeah. Now you have a website, but you're in Canada.
I am.
So, um, what is your
It's
website?
it is cynthiajamesoncoach.ca, and it's Jameson with an IE.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to link all of these things in the show notes so people can connect with you, hear more of your wisdom, get to soak in all the goodness
Yes.
from your podcast and your socials, and check out your
And
website.
like, can I extend them an invitation?
Yeah, please
So
do.
I also have created a community,
That's right.
Be the Light community, and I just want to shout out to Crystal here because she has been such an incredible guide that has supported me in the creation of that community. And it's a free community. It's for people who want to live and lead and be the light for themselves, for others, so that we can shine a light for other people to find their way. So if that speaks to you, come in, join us. I'm so excited to see what will unfold in that community.
Yes. Okay, I will include the link for Be the Light as well. It's a good place to be.
It's a good
I
place
can
to
just say
be.
that.
And I want to say thank you for this beautiful invitation and this incredible conversation. It's been an honor and a privilege to spend time with you
Thank you. You as well. I always love getting to talk to you. Oh, I know this
anytime.
won't be the last time because we have many more exciting things to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Oh, thank you so much, Cynthia.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.
That's a wrap on this week's episode. We'll see you back here next week. In the meantime, for all things psychic development, head to our website at theschoolforpsychics.com and check out our opportunities. You can find the link in the show notes below.
I hope that you're walking away feeling more aligned with your true self, more confident in the choices ahead, and ready to leave the safe path behind, knowing you've got everything you need within. Remember, the journey to you isn't about finding one perfect direction. It's about trusting yourself enough to explore all of it. If you're ready to dive deeper, join me for the next episode and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss the next step on your path. I invite you to join my mailing list at www.cynthiajamesoncoach.ca, where we'll deepen our relationship and you can claim your copy of Your Inner Compass, a guide to charting your course to authenticity. Until next time, stay unfiltered, stay true, and most importantly, stay you.